So today we're gonna take a look at that mysterious thing. I have no idea what it is. I got it from a friend, he gifted that to me, and he said I should tinker around with it. So we're gonna find out what it does, how it works, and what it is. So here on the bench I have this thing, and when we turn it around, it has a power cord with the normal U style cable, earth ground, that is P and that is neutral, and then we have a couple of D-sub connectors and a female D-sub connector on the board behind it, but I have no idea what it all does. If you take off that cover here, we can get a first glance at the insides on the back, on the bus side. I need to unwrangle the cable really quick. As you can see, the main power cable comes in here, and I will just disconnect it to get it out of the way. Or maybe that's not that of a smart idea, because... hold on. Why is there... That is how it was wired in there, right? That are definitely, like definitely, mains cable colors. But apparently they're wired ground BSE, which probably do be earth ground, and minus 48 volts. So first of all, brown is normally the phase. So if I would hook up a phase AC 230 volts to brown and ground, or the neutral, to here, we would have a potential of 230 volt on that, where it expects 48 volts. So that is odd, but also not bad, because when I can power this to 48 volt, I can power it from my lab bench supply, and I am way more comfortable working with these little voltages than with 230 volts. Also, I can current like put it on a safe current and shit, that it's not going up in smoke when I test it. But yeah, that is definitely really odd. So when we then look over here, we have the, I assume is Powersupply, with two boards in it, which are apparently not connected to each other, or not much connected. I can see in the inside a little wire and the ribbon cable, which probably connects the two power supply boards with each other. And then we have a lot of other wires connecting multiple boards with each other here. But looks like a really general bus, if you asked me. So when we turn it around, you can see there's a lot of blanks. So I won't bother unscrewing the blanks. Here probably was a card, but it's not installed. But let's just try getting... oops, I already destroyed it. Let's just try to undo these, which is pretty easy. And this is an interesting card. So there already was like a sticker on here, like that. But I undid this, like I already unscrewed that, or like tried it once. So I undid it, so that is apparently a microcontroller or something similar like that. Haven't found that out, but I haven't looked up everything, but like there was like, it looks like an EEPROM or something, but just like a beautiful connector, a lot of relays, a couple of logic. I haven't like tried reverse engineering everything. That's just like technically my second look of it, but I haven't like actually looked at it. So there's a HD 6803 on it, a Motorola 68A50, some ROMs probably. So I don't know what all of that is, but that looks like really useful for another project I have. If that thing does not what we need, or does not do something useful, I don't know what it does. It could be like something telecommunication or old internet, which I totally cannot use. And the last card, which looks like some interesting things. That looks like the wrong side around, and you can actually like take them out. For that, it's really possible that this one is the wrong side around, so let's change it. And this is just some logic which is stickered over with stickers. And if you look at the inside, it's pretty much empty, so I won't take out these blanks, doesn't matter. So apparently here's an isolation layer. Some 250 volt capacitors. Some 470 volt capacitors. Then here you can definitely see a transformer. I can see a lot of transistors over here. But I can't see a big like transmission, or like a big definitely physical isolation layer between the input and the output, even though that doesn't look like an output. But I can see like a specific isolation between what looks like data and not data. So it's really possible that that is a 48 volt power supply, which makes the other voltages. Top of here you can see apparently probably the output. But yeah, that is the power supply. Today I mainly want to focus on the power supply. I want to test if it works, and if we can get it running. So first of all, it does not look, when you just visual inspection, it does not look wrong. I'm gonna take it apart to try to explain it. So I was able to get it loose, and I'm gonna unplug this cable. It does not have a safety, so just to check that was on that way, right? So like that. And also the blue was on the side of the connector. So just that we remember that, and I can watch that back so we don't mess this up, because that would be really bad. On that card right here we have a couple of voltage regulators. I would say these two are PWM, according to them having 5 pins, and this is probably a regular linear regulator. We can look them up, but I would say they just make the normal voltages as 12 volts and 5 volts probably. And then we have some Motorola canny, could be transistors, could be voltage regulators, I don't know exactly what it is. A relay and a coil, I guess, could be also a transformer. Then on the second board we have that connector, and we have a big transformer. Here are a couple of transistors, and what it looks like to me, I can't see. I'm still searching for a full bridge rectifier, but I haven't been able to spot it yet. So I guess it's a DC to DC converter because it doesn't get rectified at all. So I guess, what I guess is the DC gets chopped up here, gets through the transformer, and then gets regulated over on that board to the specific voltages. So it's actually a DC to DC converter, so it's not AC to DC. So I've now put it back together and hopefully hooked it up right. I'm gonna double check that. And we're now gonna have to find out how we have to hook that up. That is how the rack is set up. So the points come in here and they are actually noted. So, yeah. So we have BSE here, which I don't know what it means. Then we have here ground. We have minus 24 volt, minus 48 volt, and minus 56. No, minus 60 volts. So these are probably maybe the inputs. And then we have the outputs, I guess. They are also labeled on that side. So we have minus 12 volts here. Again, minus 12 volts. So I guess the magenta ones, they are minus 12 volts. Then the orange ones, they're going to here. Maybe that one could be labeled. Is it though? Yes, it is labeled. So the orange one is plus. The orange one are plus 12 volts. And the pink ones are plus 5 volts. Then we also have some special ones like this, which is ground. This is ground. So the cable with things are ground here. The cable, the mark, like the patch thingy cable, that one's ground too. And that here, what is that? Probably again plus 5 volts. Okay, so we have just the common voltages we should be able to measure. So if I now hook up minus 48 volts and ground to here, then I should be able to be measuring 12 and 5 volts on here. Hopefully. Let's try that. So let's put the power supply back in. The power supply is now temporarily installed, and let's turn it around again. So I will hook that up to my lab bench power supply. It cannot supply 48 volts, so I'm gonna put it in series. So we now have, that's the master. So we now have 12 volts, we need 48, so we need 24 volts. Like that. And then current limit it all the way. That. I'm gonna short circuit it real quick, just to check the current. So to limit the current to like 150 milliamps, which is 300 milliamps on the full current. No, that's actually not true. We are running in series, so it's actually 150 milliamps. So brown needs to go to the red one because that's ground, and then that's going to be minus 48 volts if everything works right. So let's turn off the power supply, hook that up. I've hooked that up, and now let's put I've hooked up the multimeter to ground and plus 12 volts, and I'm gonna rearrange the shot now that you also can see. Is that even possible? Do I have enough space that you can see everything as well as the power supply? And I put the power supply to amps on the one side that you can see on that side the voltage, on that side you can see the current that it is drawing, and down there you can see the voltage it's just measuring, and just in the shot you can see. So let's test it. As you can see, it's drawing 0.7 amps, so like 70 milliamps, and you can see on the voltmeter 12.11 volts. So the plus 12 volts is working. So let's check the minus 12 volts. Minus 12.1. Perfect. And then the plus 5 volts. 5.1. Absolutely amazing. So you can just feed it 48 volts and it happily eats that and makes perfect voltage out of that. That is awesome. So we're gonna remove that again, and I wanna just check one thing, and that will be the green LED. Oh, you can't see that. So the green LED, it is also glowing, and it's also turning off. That is awesome. So when we now got the power supply working, in the next episode we're gonna take a look at all the cards and try to find out what they do and how we can use them. Until then, I hope you have liked that video. If so, please consider leaving a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and I really want to continue this. So if you like it, please let me know in the comments. Have a good one. Till then, bye.